Fireworks might not be the only spectacle on the 4th of July along the National Mall. The baby Trump balloon you've seen floating at protests during the president's visits to London could be making its way here. If so, it would fly near the Lincoln Memorial. Makia Turner live there now with all the details. Good morning, Makia.
Hey, good morning, Annie. So the National Park Service recently received its first request for a protest permit from a group that wants to fly that giant blimp over the closest grassy area near the Lincoln Memorial. Of course, many of you know that President Trump has plans to overhaul the city's 4th of July celebrations, and this comes with some criticism and now a planned protest. The infamous baby Trump balloon depicting the president as an orange scowling baby could do more traveling this summer. According to the Washington Post, activists with a group called Code Pink want to bring the blimp to D.C., flying it over an area near the Lincoln Memorial during President Trump's 4th of July speech. In a tweet months ago, the president announced plans to have, quote, one of the biggest gatherings in history, a complete overhaul of a massive annual celebration that already takes place. Code Pink has been floating the idea of baby Trump since last year, raising more than $10,000 to import it to D.C. The blimp has already shown up over anti-Trump protests in London. Other depictions, like an inflatable rat and this massive chicken, have popped up in the district in the past. Now, some are just waiting to see if baby Trump will make its arrival. And just to clarify the context there, one of the biggest gatherings in Washington, D.C. history. The group expects a few dozen people to show up for this protest, but of course that could grow in the weeks ahead, of course. Reporting live from the Lincoln Memorial, Makia Turner, back to you.